Hey guys, Smitty here. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. We're back in Valheim, and today I'm going to be giving an in-depth tour of my recent swamp treehouse build. If you'd like to see the build process of this project, make sure you check out my previous video. Without further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink. Let's get right into it. Alright, so the swamp treehouse. So this is a project that was a lot of fun to build. I definitely had it in my mind that I wanted to build something in the swamp. I think it's such a neglected biome when it comes to building. It's obviously because, one, it's very dangerous. There's a lot of things trying to kill you out here. But two, it's kind of a difficult area to build in just with so much water, and there's a lot of stuff you gotta do with leveling ground, and it can be hard to find a good place to build here. But wanted to show this place some love because I do love the way that the swamp looks. I think it's such a strong theme and deserves to have more builds on it. So really happy with how this one turned out overall. But obviously being in the swamp and being somewhere that is treacherous, naturally when I build here I gravitate towards building in the trees just because that feels safer. I think would make sense in a place like this. So came up with this design that kind of has 3 different levels. So you have a ground level, the actual main structure, and then a tower there at the top. I think it looks quite interesting. My goal for this one was to really make it feel like an outpost, so somewhere maybe Vikings have bravely ventured to establish maybe a place where they could gather some resources out in the swamp and then be able to ship it off to their main base. So, like I said, we got 3 levels here. We'll just start with the ground floor. And I really wanted this to feel like more of the work area, so we have the work area down here. This is more of a living space there on the mid floor, and then the top is more of like a defensive tower. But I basically surrounded this with some of the wood fence and those wood spikes just to make it feel like there is at least a little bit of a barrier, to make it a little bit safer going all the way around. And I think the combination of fusing those two together actually looks kind of nice. And while it does make this area feel safer, it's obviously not completely impenetrable, and still gives it the feel that, you know, we still have to monitor this area, make sure that nothing can break through, and, you know, still have to keep guard and keep watch. So like I said, this bottom area is more of a work area. We got some workbenches and a forge here, perhaps creating some weapons here to assist in the defense of this outpost. And then it's really just decorated and meant to look like a bit of a resource operation where we're storing a lot of resources and then shipping it off. So we have a simple dock over here. It's a nice little cozy fire on this side. And then we have our ship, which maybe we could be shipping off some iron that maybe we're gathering in some of the crypts here. But quite compact. It's not a huge space, but feels kind of cool how it's just kind of self-encapsulated in this little island, or this peninsula here. So as we loop our way around here, this is where we get to what's probably my favorite part of this build, the stairs. So this took a while and definitely is not the most cost-effective method when it comes to resources, but it just works so perfectly with what I wanted to do. So I definitely wanted to create a ascending stair design that would match the contour of this tree. And I thought about it for a while, and typically when I've done spiral staircases, I've just used like the normal stair pieces and then just using the snapping points. But that's pretty limiting in terms of where exactly that spirals up to. And I don't think I would have been able to follow the contour of the tree quite like I envisioned this to be. So that's where I resorted to using this technique, and it just works so well, and I think it looks so nice just the way it just wraps up along this tree like that. So definitely took a while, but I think it paid off really nicely, and it looks really cool as it even just continues up the rest of the way here. But as we work our way up here, we are now on the main floor, and so this is actually the living part of the structure. And I love the way this turned out. I think it feels so cozy, which contrasts really nicely with kind of the gloomy outside of the swamp. But at the same time, it does still feel kind of dim, and you know, you don't lose the feeling that you're in a place that's kind of dangerous and kind of gloomy at the same time. But again, still feels cozy and looks super nice. So just decorated with different things like the cartography table, I use this as an area as maybe the place where we're hanging our meats to dry before they're actually being cooked in the fire. And for those of you who aren't familiar with how to do this, what you do is you put the fire underneath, hang the meats, and then remove the fire later, which allows the meats to stay there without burning. And so I also just create a little, like, kind of bucket area maybe where some of the blood could drain. And then we have this cozy little stove fire area. Maybe we're cooking some good food for a feast over on here where we have the dining table. But this is meant to be the kitchen area. We have some countertops, which look really nice, which have some of the ingredients maybe that we're serving up. Some nice decorative ideas here. So for instance, this is like the pots, the hanging pots and pans, that craftable item. But what I've done here is just sunk it down below, just so we just have the bowls and plates. So that's a nice technique to decorate kitchens, and then use some shields to make it look like some platters that are ready to use here. And then cutting board here, which is just a tower shield with some knives and some carrots placed on top of it. And then I actually really like this counter that just I snuck in right underneath the stairs here. I think it's nice to break up a build with some curved elements here, so this nice curved countertop looks nice. I don't know, just little elements like that. Just when you put them all together, just add a lot of charm to a build. And then obviously have our long table here, where perhaps the people who are inhabiting this outpost would have feasts. And but yeah, so nothing over the top here. I do like how this hanging brazier does illuminate the table quite nicely. So then as we work our way over here, we have our signature bunk bed design. So we're able to fit in 6 dragon beds. A nice space efficient way to fit in a bunch of beds here. A note to some of you guys who play in survival mode: if you guys do try to utilize the bunk bed technique, be wary of the bottom bunk, because there is a possibility that you could get like glitched and stuck underneath it when you wake up. So maybe try to stick to the top bunks if you're using this technique. But overall, really love how this main floor feels. I think it just turned out really cozy. But then from here, we continue our spiral ascent up the tree. Kind of following the contour here, and it goes up here through the roof. This is where things got a little tricky, because we actually have to loop around some branches, but I do like how we were able to adapt to the tree form itself, and makes it feel quite organic. And then it just continues to loop up here, up to this final little lookout area where we just have a couple of bows and some seats. So maybe some soldiers would be up here just monitoring the surroundings as a bit of a lookout tower. So yeah, nothing much here. More of a defensive structure at the top, but just adds a nice additional layer to this build. That's the swamp treehouse. Again, not a huge build, but I think it's really nicely put together and incorporates a couple new build ideas that really worked out well. But yeah, again, super fun build. I really enjoyed this one. Always good to show the swamp some love. Again, a very underutilized biome when it comes to building. But hopefully you guys took some inspiration from this one. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.